Good evening, sir.
Hey, Paul, good evening. Welcome to class. Did you guys have time to practice? Make time actually?
Yeah, did a little practice.
Oh, good. Hey, Dada, did you practice? Lua, did you practice?
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Evening, welcome to class.
Yes, sir.
We're looking for people who made time to practice. All right, so let's go and start our work for today. So share screen. We'll go to AWS and then of course, you know how to get here, right? So let's quickly spin up our,
Yes, sir.
Our server. We'll select the simple one. And then we'll do next. Next. SSH, yeah, that's about all we need at this time. Next. Launch with cars. All right. So we go to our, what's that tool again? Mobile. We'll go to mobile extern, we'll load our mobile extern, we'll start our SSH session. We'll come here, we'll copy our public instance. You see it here, copy. And then we use cars, right? So we go to our mobile extern. We'll come here, push like that. Who is the user here? And for advanced, what's our private key? I'll click here. Cars. All right, so are we ready now? There's a problem.
I'm having problems with my computer.
What problem? So also had problem here. Let's see what problem did we have. Okay, let's do it again. We'll use our cars as script. I don't know what issue we had here. Let's just close this session. Delete this session. Let's go. Let's start another one. So session SSH Control V. Public IP address copy. Control V. EC2 user. Then here. Where's cars? All right, okay. All right, so we are good now. Clear. So can we start now? This is Linux.
Yes, we can.
Okay, any question? Something you need us to quickly trash before we start? Something you had difficulty with when you were practicing? Okay, so no question. All right, so let me quickly load our node. We are doing Linux, right? Linux. So what are we practicing today? Share. Okay, so what did we practice the last time? We practiced ls minus la, print working directory, I. Okay, so everything is good. EC2, and then we're in EC2 user. All right. So today, let us do a bit of network administration. That is, create user accounts and then work with user accounts. That's what we want to do today. Create user accounts and work with user accounts. Create user accounts. All right. How to create and manage users. So there is a file where the system keeps the list of all users. That file is called password. Password. That's the name of the file. Move this window away. Okay, so cd root, print working directory. Where are we? We're in root directory. ls minus la. There are many directories. A directory called boot. This is where the boot files are kept. There's dev, there's etc. This etc is very important. This is where configuration files are kept. The system keeps all its configuration files in the etc directory. And your work is network administrator. So most of your files will be inside here. So let's change directory to etc. cd etc. Right? ls minus l for etc. All right, so many configuration files. All right, so many configuration. So many configuration files. Okay, so to find a particular file, instead of scrolling all the way, looking for a file, you could do, looking for where that noise is coming from, so I can, let me mute everybody. Okay, from Coco. All right, so somebody waiting?
I don't have noise here. It's not from Coco. No noise. Oh.
Yeah, I muted you. I'm using my iPhone. Somebody waiting to come in? I don't see anybody waiting to come in. Somebody say I should accept. You are here now. Mojo, Fola, you are here.
He's asking for the link.
The link is on the site now. If it's our student, you should have the link. You see a new person. So, okay. So let's go back to class, please. Okay, so there's a command called clear ls. Then you can say grep. You do pipe grep for the particular file you are looking for. Maybe password. Print working directory. We're in etc. ls minus la. You have all of this file ls minus la, ls minus la, pipe grep for password. All right. So what does this mean? It means give me the full list of the directory like you normally do, but this time I'm looking for a particular file called password. Filter it and give me that one. So it filters the whole list of directories and gives you only the one called password. So if you say cat this file password, what are you going to know? Cat. What are you going to see? You are going to see a list of all the users, different user accounts on this system. So the number one user account is root, all right? And then you have a user called Bean, a user called Daemon, a user called different users, all right? And then of course you have your own user, EC2. Are you getting what I'm saying at all? So what I'm saying is this file is where the system keeps the list of all user accounts on the system. Because as network administrator, you need to know it to be useful. So EC2 is a user on this system. That is why it is listed here. Root is a user on this system. That's why it is listed here. All right. So cat is the command to always find out what is contained in the file. Okay. All right. So to create a user, the command is user add. User add. And then which user do we want to create? Let us create user code Coco. So user add is a command, but EC2 user is trying to create a user with the command user add Coco, and it's saying permission denied. What do you think the problem is? EC2 does not have permission, does not have authority to create user. So only root can create user. So it's either you change to your root by saying sudo su, and then you have moved from being EC2 to being root now, and then you can now say user add Coco. So it did not say permission denied anymore. It means that a user has been created with the name Coco. To find out if this is true, you cut the file of users. The file of users is password. And then you see that there is a list of different kinds of users by the system. There's EC2, and amongst them, there's also a user called Coco with 1001 just created now. That's how to create a user. So you can now say switch user to Coco. So I have moved from being root to working now as Coco. Is all of this making sense? They're not talking.
Yes, sir.
Is there somebody that this thing is confusing? So Linux is a server operating system. So there can be many administrators on a Linux system. All right. So once I hire a new administrator, I'm going to create an account for the administrator, especially not in cloud. Cloud is also so different, but all the same. Okay, let's just come to low level now. So if I want to create an account for this new user, Coco, this is how to go about it. So that from now on, Coco now has an account on this system and can work from that account. Only administrator can create accounts. It's either I change to administrator and create the account, or I use my sudo to create the account as easy to use. How do I know that Coco is a user? By cutting the file password. All right, let's go over this, all of this one more time. Let's switch user back to EC2. EC2 user. Right? What's EC2 user password? Do I have a password? Wahala don't come. I don't have a password, so I'm not able to see. That's the problem. Okay, switch user sudo s. What's Coco? Coco doesn't even have a password. Okay, this is not conventional. You can hook now. Yes, so switch user exit. All right. Okay, so let's do it one more time. So what I'm saying is, there is a new employee to this company. It's an administrator. I need him to be able to create files, move files, and do stuff for our 2 million subscribers that are being managed from this Linux server. So I want to create an account for him to be able to do all that. The command to create an account is user add. That's a new command. And then what is the name of the account you want to create? Maybe I want to use the person's name to create the account. User add white. So I'm saying create the user account white. That's the meaning of this statement. And then I press enter. Permission denied. What is the problem and what's the solution to this problem?
You have to switch to the root before you can create an account.
Okay, that's the solution, but what's the problem?
The problem is the user, EC2 user cannot create account.
Does not have permission to create. It's not authorized.
Permission, yeah, to create an account. It has to be from the root.
Okay. All right, that's good. So what's the solution now? What do I type?
Now put sudo.
Okay, sudo before the command. Sudo
user add white.
Correct. So no more permission denied. Correct. So I now have white created. How do I convince myself that the account white has actually been created?
Now you cut it. You cut the user password.
Password, yes. And I'll see that white has been
1002.
Yes, beautiful. Is any other person following like this person that's talking? Everybody else following? Rich Addy. Who is Rich Addy? Every other person following?
No, it's me. I think that should be me. I'm trying to use my son desktop.
Oh, okay. But who is that?
Ayodele.
Ayodele. Okay.
I'm using iPhone.
What?
Okay. What? You were the Rich Addy too.
No. Richard is Adeyinka. Like I've renamed mine.
I will rename myself. By default, my Zoom come up as Richard A.
Oh,
Okay. Okay. So you guys are following what we are doing?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right.
I have one question, sir.
Okay.
Sir, do we have to be in the ETC before we can create the user? And again, how do we go about it to be inside the ETC? That's
To
why I
be in
didn't get it.
ETC.
My network was fluctuating there.
So where are we now? Print working directory. We're in Etsy now.
Yeah.
All right. To go into Etsy, you say cd Etsy from wherever you are. That's the command to go into Etsy. Must you always be in Etsy to create account? Let us find out. Let us get out of Etsy. Let's say cd. Let's just do cd. cd without anything in front will take us to our home directory for EC2. So can we create account here? Let us try. Sudo create account, user add Dauda. So it worked. So no, you don't have to be in Etsy to create directory. Then what's the reason we came to Etsy? The reason we came to Etsy is to access the file password so that we can always do cat password because the file is inside. So if we now do cat password, it is not, the file is not here, so it's not going to cat it for us. Where is the file? The file is in Etsy. So that was the reason we needed to go into Etsy. You can now say cat password. I will not see this. Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. So, but creating a user account without password is useless. So let us add a password to the user account we just created. So to add password, we say password, then the name of the user, Dauda. Again.
Dauda or White?
Huh?
Was it Dauda or White?
Yeah, we actually created many. We created Dauda, we created White, we created Coco. So we add password to all of them. All right. So, but it's telling us only root can specify username. You may mute yourself. What's up, your baby? So the solution here is to say add sudo to that command. So sudo password Dauda. Okay, what password do you want to give to Dauda? So let's give it password Dauda 1234 hash. Dauda 1234. All right, that was successful. So Dauda, your password is Dauda, all small letters, 1234 hash. All right, so let's do the same thing for White. How do we change password for White? Sudo password White.
White.
And then to ask us, what is the password I want to assign to White? Let's do White, 1234 hash. White, 1234 hash. It didn't match. So let's start again. White, 1234 hash. White, 1234 hash. Okay, good this time. And then for Coco, let us do password. What's the command? Sudo password Coco. And then password Coco 1234 hash. We type Coco 1234 hash. All right, so with this one now, you can now create user account and password within Linux systems. I've just gone through many examples of how to create user account and password. So to change to any of them now, it will be switch user to Coco. Then what's Coco's password? Coco 1234 hash. What's Coco's password?
I think 1234.
Let me try it.
What-
Switch
what
user to Coco. Coco 1234 hash. Okay, got it this time. All right, so from now on, the person that is working is Coco. Whatever atrocities committed on this system now, the system knows that it is Coco that is working.
Okay.
So Coco
Right,
is
so-
now the EC2.
No, that's not a good way to see it. If it too has logged out, Coco is logged in, and Coco is.
Okay.
Yes. So ls minus la. So whatever we are doing now is by Coco. Now, let us find out what is Coco able to do. Let us say ID. If we say ID, we see that Coco user ID is this, and it belongs to the group Coco. And it belongs to the group Coco. If we want to make Coco an administrator so that Coco will be able to do everything that administrator can do, the way to do it, are you putting down these commands? The way to do it is to say user mod minus user mod minus G. Let me go and find out. So what I want to do, okay, let me just follow this step by step. Let me follow the manual. Okay, so sudo username, password, that, okay? User. So the next command I want to show you is what's that command?
I don't know. My screen, there's something covering your screen. I don't know my computer. Or...
Yeah, it's everywhere. I can see that too. Yeah, it's gone.
Oh, okay.
It's gone now.
It's gone now.
Okay, yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, because I was opening a document, I was looking for something. Okay, but let me move this to one side. I'm opening your manual, so I want to follow the manual so I don't jump something. I don't jump anything, rather. So I've taught you how to do user add, password. To change password parameter for user, sudo user add will show all options. To delete user, if I show you how to delete user, yeah, okay, I found the command I'm looking for. Sudo user mod minus ag will trainees. Let me show you. Let's clear this. Just like we showed you that the file password contains all users. There's another file also called group. There's a file called group. Let's look for it. ls-la. Filter for the file called group. So there is a file called group. What is this? Is it a file or a directory?
It's a file.
It's a file, correct. So what is in this file? Let us cut it. Cut group. So this file group contains all the groups in the system. So every time you create a user, a group is automatically created for that user. So Coco is a user and it belongs to the group Coco. White is a user and it belongs to the group White. Dauda is a user and it belongs to the group Dauda, and so on and so forth. Now, there is also a user, let's grep for. There's also a group called Will. Look at it. Can you see it? Will. What does this group mean? This group is a special group. Anybody that belongs to this group can do everything admin. So if I want to make anybody admin, all I have to do is add that person to the group Will. So if I want to give Coco, if I want to make Coco powerful so that Coco can do all things, all I just need to do is add him to the admin group. That's all. That is all. There's no need to say, to go and list 300 things and say, Coco, you're able to do all these 300 things one by one. No. I just add him to the group Will. By that, it's now able to do everything that an admin can do. If you're going to write the certification exam, these are certification questions. The group will, nobody will ever is likely to ask you these things at interview, but they expect you to know it because if you don't know it, then you'll not be able to do the work that they'll be asking you at interviews. These are not necessarily interview questions, but they are certification questions. Okay, so I have shown you that there's a group called will, and that is the most powerful group of all groups. Now let us add somebody to this group. Coco cannot add somebody to the group because Coco is not, in fact, let us do it. So the command to add a user to that group is user mod minus AG, then will, that's the name of the group. Then who do you want to add to the group? Let us say we want to add white. So this is the command. Do you get it? The command is user modify.
So are you saying Coco doesn't have power to add?
So I've not entered, so I don't even know yet. Okay. But I'm explaining the meaning of the command. So the command is user mod minus AG, add to the group will this user called white. All right, so to your question, yes, you already predicted correctly that Coco, who is Coco to be able to do this? It's too powerful. How can Coco do this? So permission denied, you expected that. So who can do this? Who can add user to will group?
What you did before, what was it? We can use sudo to add.
Are you saying that if we do this, it will work?
Sudo. Yeah, we can sudo the user mode minus AG.
So are you saying this will work?
Since sudo has power now, I think Coco can use sudo to do it.
Are you seeing what I have on the screen?
Yeah.
Yeah. So are we right? Will this work?
It should work.
All right. So
yes,
password for Coco. Who is Coco? Password for Coco.
Coco 1234.
Coco 1234 hash. All right. Coco is not a sudo, so it's not working. So Coco cannot do it for once, and it makes sense. You just take time to reflect on it. It makes sense that Soso cannot do it, but good that we are checking by ourselves. Now let us go back to the basics. The Coco that is trying to add somebody to win is not even himself a member of the win. So how can he do it? That's what he's saying. All right. So who can do it then? Who can do it?
We can go back to root and ask root to do it.
All right, so just change to root can do it. So the answer is root. Root. The answer is root.
I said root.
Yeah, but I need you to say it in a way that reflects that.
Oh, okay.
All those long grammar. We can go back to root. This is IT. So I'm training you people to do it, to say the right way.
To use the term I'm supposed to use.
Yeah, exactly. Root can do it. All right. So who can show me how to go back, how to be root now? Which user? Sudo su. That's how to be root.
Sudo su.
All right. So sudo su. Password for Coco. Do I need Coco's password to be sudo su? Coco 1234. No, I don't need Coco's password. So sudo su. Okay.
I told you yes.
No, I don't think it will work because Coco is not a sudo. Like Coco is not on the.
Coco is not a sudo.
Sudo group.
Yes. But I'm trying to go to root. I'm trying to get the root.
We can change user.
Yeah, how do we change user?
SU. to
switch
EC2
user.
user. Yes.
Yeah,
Oh.
SU EC2 user.
Switch user to yeah, you're right. But we are not going to EC2, we are going to root.
Then we can use the forward slash and the backward slash.
No, not root directory, root user.
Or root user. Oh, okay.
Okay.
We need to get out of Coco before we can get to root user now.
That's exactly what we're trying to do. How do we get out of it?
Yeah.
Let's change user to EC2 user, and then
we'll move to
when we
EC2
get to
user
EC2
to
user,
root.
then from there we can go to root.
Okay, EC2. That's a good one. EC2 user. Let's try that. So what's the password for? Do we have password for EC2 user?
No. We didn't create one.
No, we did not.
The password that we need here is Coco's password, right?
Okay, don't worry. I know why we're facing all of this. I know why. So
now we're in EC2.
We're EC2 now. We're in EC2 now. All right. Those commands were good, but it's just that I will explain why we're facing them. Now, the person that can do all of that is root, right?
Yes, sir.
In fact, I can explain now why we're having all of that. The two users, the things I'm trying to show you now, they are beyond what is accommodated in cloud. In cloud, specifically in AWS, the two users that are accommodated are only EC2 and root. All this Coco and code that I'm trying to create is just for you to learn how to do it. But in cloud servers, they are not recognized. That's why we're having this difficulty going into them. But if we're not in cloud, if we were on a Linux system within an enterprise environment, then we can create as many users as we want and play around with them. But within cloud, only two users are recognized, EC2 and root. Any other thing, we are going to have problems because the nature of cloud itself, like we are going to study later on, does not allow any other kind of user. This is the EC2. Every user is EC2. The level of access you want that particular EC2 to have can be determined by services within cloud, not services within Linux. All right, this is recorded. You can always refer to it, even though you don't understand what I'm saying, what I mean. Anyway, but just let's carry on. So what was it that we wanted to do? We wanted root to be able to do something, right? So now let's go to root. Now that we are comfortably in EC2, we can alternate between root and EC2. That was not a problem. We only begin to have problems when we use other users outside EC2 and root. So what's the command to go to root? Sudo su. Exactly. So this was the same command we typed when it was Coco and it was telling us. All right. So we are now root, right? So what do we want this root to do? We want this root to make Coco a member of Wheels group, right? So the command is user mod -ag, make him wheel who Coco. This is the command. This is the command I need you to do. All right, so we'll press enter. There's no negative, no report, nothing. Everything is. So with this one now, Coco is now a sudoer. In other words, Coco is now an administrator. Coco is now able to do everything. So if I say, look at another command, ID, it will tell me that Coco, no, not, sorry, ID of Coco. So it will tell me that Coco is now a member of the Wheels group, in addition to being a member of Coco, which is by default. I don't know if you get that. Okay. So what I mean is, let me switch user to Coco now. Switch user to Coco, right? Okay, let me first of all go to EC2 like that man recommended. EC2 user. And then let me switch user from EC2 now to Coco. Switch user to Coco. What's Coco's password? Coco 1, 2, 3. So we are Coco now. Give me any task now that admin should do. you see that Coco will be able to do it. For example, create a user and give him a password. Let's do it. How do we create user? User add, and then Akin. User add Akin. Coco ordinarily should be able to do that because Coco is a pseudo. So,
do we verify if Coco was a pseudo?
Yeah.
Yes, we did here. But if you want, we can also check. How do we verify?
ID.
Yeah, that's one way.
Another
way to verify is groups. What groups does? Please note this command. That's why we are doing Linux. The reason we are doing Linux is for us to learn these commands. Please note them down. So Coco belongs to two groups. It belongs to the group Coco and it belongs to the group we. That is one way. Of course, the father of all the ways. Somebody was talking about cat. Cat what?
Nobody's talking about what cat.
Yeah, somebody mentioned cat. Cat. What do we cat? Cat group, right? Or cat password. And then you see that Coco. No, this one is not showing us anything we want to do. Cat. No, this one will not show us. Okay, so these are not good ways. The good ways to know, the ways to know are to cat to do groups and ID. Those are the ways to know. All right, but again, like I said, any other user, the reason we're just going through this is for us to know how these things work in enterprise environment. For cloud environment, they will not really work as you expect because the only two users that cloud recognize are root and EC2. Even though we are giving Coco power here, cloud doesn't recognize Coco. That is why, not Linux. Linux recognizes Coco, but the hindrance we are having is because we have this system in cloud. Do you understand the difference between being in cloud and not being in cloud? Being an enterprise environment?
Yeah.
Okay, I guess somebody doesn't understand.
I have a question.
Okay, let me quickly explain this so that I don't forget. Then you can ask a question. So when we have a system like there's a bank being set up and they call you as the network administrator, as the network engineer to come and set up this bank. Then you set up, this is the 4 walls of the bank. Then you set up all of the systems one by one, maybe, for example, maybe physical system, maybe 25 of them. All of them network, the technical people, the technicians came, they did all the cabling, completed all the networking, they connected the cables to switch, and everything is working. So you come in now as the engineer that you are, you load your operating system here, Windows, 10, Windows 11, Windows. And because everything already is connected to switch through cables, you just create your own server here. And on this server, you run a Linux operating system. All right? So this is the Linux operating system that you are using to administer this network. So this Linux operating system, for example, is connected, to this system. And from this system, you can manage all these other computers one by one. And even computers connected to this network from the outside world through the gateway. You can monitor and manage, administer all of them through this Linux operating system. In this case, this Linux operating system is, we are running it on an enterprise environment. This is enterprise. As contrasted with if you had all of this replica, but not in physical form, but in cloud. You have if you had all of this one in cloud, where you have all of the EC tools, please mute yourself, you're not. So you have all of this, not in physical form, but in virtual forms in cloud, all the machines. And then of course, you have your server, your EC2 server in cloud. And from there you are, everything here is cloud-based. So this is enterprise, but this is cloud. When I say enterprise compared to cloud, I'm saying the old school, the old-fashioned way that I am coming from of running this thing compared to the new-fashioned ways of running this thing. So in this environment, only EC2 user and root are recognized as users. But in this environment, you can create as many users as you want, like we are trying to do within Linux. So the reason we are having changing to Cocoa and Cocoa is not working properly, changing to White and White is not working properly, is because we are not working with Linux in this environment. We are working with Linux in this environment. And this cloud as an environment has superimposed its own power on the power of the Linux here. Therefore, there are many things that you should be doing within Linux, but you are not doing in cloud. So cloud has removed the power of Linux to do that here. But between the two of them, which one is more powerful? Definitely this one, 100 times. So even though it appears like, it may appear to you like, why is it not allowing us to do it? Yet there are so many things it will allow you to do in place of what it is not allowing you to do. So in actual fact, you are not missing any. You're not missing any. And I used to teach from enterprise environment, but believe me, I've been to so many interviews on your behalf, like I told you at the beginning, and I know what it takes now to get a 140K job. So there's no use teaching you what you should have known 8 years ago, but you don't necessarily need it now to get a 140K job. So let's just focus directly on the things that employers are looking for in the modern times, not like they were looking for 8, 15, 20 years ago. So we are going to get what they are looking for now. All right. There are so many things for the future to learn. So many things to learn that we don't even need to bother about. So many things that we should have known 15 years ago. One should be learning about anything that we should be knowing now and for the future. All right. So when I say enterprise environment, I mean this old school environment, which you are not really required to know now, compared to cloud environment, which is the new school environment, which you are expected to know everything as much as possible about. All right. Does that help? Does that help? All right. Somebody was going to ask a question. What was your question?
Yeah, I think you answered the most part of my question. So just in addition to what you said, just for me to get clarity. So commands when you run, so for example, on the enterprise network section,
yeah,
if you add a user to the wheel, you could be able to run anything as a root.
Correct.
But cloud, only root and the EC2 users are recognized to run any administrative privilege commands, right? Or task.
In cloud?
In cloud, yeah.
Not just any administrative, to run at all, whether administrative or user.
So
in cloud.
When you add a user to the wheel group in cloud,
no, it's not allowed in cloud.
Oh, I thought that's what we did.
Yeah, but you see, when we did it, we're having hindrances here and there, not able to. In cloud, there are better ways to achieve that goal of allowing your user to do what you want him to do as a root. One way to achieve that is through IAM, which we are going to do in cloud. Okay. So cloud has its own identity and management structure different from that of Linux.
Okay.
Yes.
So when Coco and White and they couldn't do those things, if you add sudo, irrespective of them being in the wheel group, can they still perform those tasks? That's my question.
In cloud?
In cloud, yeah.
No. In cloud, you are not even allowed to create any user at all. Whatever you want is by EC2 and root. Finish. You are not, don't create user. The reason you are creating user, that you want the user to do, that you want to create user for. What you do in cloud, okay. I don't know if I should. Yes, we'll still do it. What you do in cloud is to create an IAM role, either for that user or for that machine or for that group. So this is what cloud uses. So in cloud, there cannot be Coco, there cannot be Daily, there cannot be White. There can only be EC2 and root. Finish.
Okay.
Confusing?
So are you saying that we are just using them? I mean, EC2 and root are just using them Coco, White, and the others as just a tool to operate in cloud.
So I am saying that the reason I'm teaching you how to create user accounts is not for you to use them in cloud. It's for you to use them in case you find yourself in enterprise environment using Linux.
Okay.
So I'm saying that in cloud and all the automations and everything you would ever need to do in cloud, you would never need to create a user account on a Linux server. All right, so in future, I will not even teach how to create user accounts anymore because it's confusing, you know. But all the same, you will not need to create user accounts in cloud. So why did I not teach you? Why are we not talking about creating user accounts? Let me say it was a mistake for me to have taught you. But it is still useful for old school people that will work in enterprise. You know, there are still some work that will require, somebody just got it on Friday, that still requires the person to physically go to office to work as a CISA, certified information system auditor. So even though most jobs are remote now, there are still some jobs that require people to go to work. So for such people, especially people in security, excuse me, they may be working in enterprise environment where they need to create user accounts. For them, it will be useful for them to know this. But for you that will be training as cloud people, there is no time you will ever need to create a user account on a Linux system. You do need to create user accounts, but not on Linux system. But you create user accounts in cloud. In fact, let me show you how simple it is to create user account in cloud. Maybe that will just clear all of this ambiguity. Let me minimize this. Let me share screen. Yes. So let me go to cloud. This cloud, right? Are you seeing my cloud?
Yes, sir.
IAM. So manage access to AWS resources. So all those Coco and stuff, what we'll do in cloud in place of that is just to come here. And then I'll say users. I already have a user. I'll create one more user. And I'll call this user Coco. And then I'll create another user, White. This is how to do it in cloud, not that. White. And then I'll create another user, Dauda. All right? And then when I'm done creating all of the users, I will give them programmatic access and console access if I want. And then I'll give them permission. And then if I want to make these people administrators, these people that I just created, I'll say attach existing policy. And I'll say make them administrators. Do you see how simple it is now? And that is it. So this is the way to create users in cloud and make them administrators, not the other way that will do it in Linux. And this is much more, 300 times more powerful than doing it within Linux. So the point I'm making is, in cloud, there are services that have overtaken the power, that have doubled the power of Linux. Those are the services we will learn instead of learning how to do those old school things in Linux. So with this one now, I'm not just giving Coco the permission to use Linux to however he wants. I'm also giving Coco the permission to use cloud facilities for this cloud services for this particular account, whether it is EC2, whether it is Route 53, whether it is database, everything in cloud. Coco now has permission to use all of them, not just Linux. Again, we'll do all of this when we come to cloud, but I just wanted to give you a feel of how simple it is to do these things in modern ways in cloud compared to the old way of doing it. Does that help you understand it?
Yeah, that clarifies that. But is there, so in cloud we don't even need to use the command line interface at all?
We do need to use command line interface, but not to create user accounts.
Okay.
Not to create user accounts. The use of command line interface in cloud is called sysop. Have you heard of the position called sysop? System operations.
Okay.
You really do need, without command line interface in cloud, you are nobody. You are nobody, you cannot get you. You need to be able to use the command line interface, and you need to be able to use it thoroughly, because all of our Terraform and infrastructure as code and DevOps, everything will be from command line interface. It is only in cloud that we'll use mouse to click. After cloud, all of our work will be from the command line interface. I mean, 80% of our work. And it is this little command that we are learning now that we'll be using to deploy those commands that we'll be learning. That's how we are learning all these little commands. So we do need to understand, to learn and understand how to use command line interface, but we do not need to create account for other users. The two accounts, EC2 and root accounts, the two accounts, EC2 and root, are enough for us to do everything we want to do. If we now need to create any other user, this is how to create it, the way we just prepared it.
So the user you just created now,
yeah.
Well, we already created them. I was going to ask if they will reflect on the cloud.
Yeah, they are in cloud. This is live cloud. Can you see my users?
No, you just created ones. I was asking if the ones that you created with these, I know you just created these new ones.
Yeah.
Inside of the cloud. I was asking if the ones that we created earlier using the command line, if they were in the cloud.
Okay, now let me explain. Who is that? Who is asking this question?
White.
White, right? Okay. The way you're asking questions shows that you have a good understanding. Let me explain that. White, can you see this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the user we just created now in cloud, they have they have authority over. Can you see my line?
Yeah.
Over everything in cloud. Can you see everything I'm drawing in cloud?
Yeah.
They have authority depending on what we give them. They have authority. But the user we created in Linux earlier on that you are looking, they have authority only over the Linux machine. They are not the same thing. So the user we created on the Linux machine have authority only within our Linux server. But the user we created in cloud has authority not just over the Linux server, but also over all the services in cloud. So why would you restrict yourself? This is the reason cloud does not recognize it. Why would you restrict yourself to 30% power when you can have 100% power? So they would rather you do it. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So the users we just created now, if it's about running Linux command, yes, they can do it. But what if we say change our RDS from MySQL to Amazon Aurora, or change our security group from this to something else. No, they don't have that power. Only this user has power to be able to do all that.
And the cloud provider does not have control, because as soon as we launch that machine, we automatically have control over that machine. And the cloud provider does not necessarily control that machine inside what is in that machine or what you create inside that machine, right?
No, inside that machine, they have limited access, but the environment of the machine, they control the power, the environment, and all of that. So they control they control the cloud, but you as the owner, you control what is inside the cloud.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's my question.
Yeah, that's a sharing of responsibility.
Infrastructure as a service.
Yeah. So they provide the infrastructure to you as a service, but what happens inside the infrastructure, the operating system and all of that is your responsibility.
Right. Got it.
I wish every other person is following us, not just the two of us. Dada, do you understand that? Coco, do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. To be honest with you, discussions like this and understanding like this is what helps you pass the interview. Because interview will not really test you as to what is the command for doing this or what is the command for doing that. But they are testing your underlying understanding of what you are doing. And discussions like this help you shine. All right. So let's go back to practical again. So we share. Okay. So where were we? Okay. So we're back to our CLI. Can you see my CLI?
Yes.
All right. So since it's not really so useful working as Coco or as any other thing other than EC2 and root, let us go back and restrict ourselves to working as EC3 and root. So let's switch user to EC2. Switch user to EC2. No, you did. You should have it. We don't need password to do this, so I'll just exit. All right. And then exit. All right. So the next thing I want to show you, but it's not like that knowledge is useless completely, but just keep it somewhere. You just might need it occasionally when you're not working. So the next thing I want to show you is how to create an account. Let's look at the notes. Yeah, we can create group. How to create a new group. Yeah, that is useful. You can create a new group. So let us work as not as root. As much as whatever it is possible, let us not work as root, because it's not all the time that you have the privilege to be a root user. In fact, you are not likely to have the password, to be honest. So instead of working as root and forgetting that in production environment you would not have that password, let us work as EC2. How do we change to EC2? All right. So what we want to do is create a group and maybe add EC2 user to that group. Yes, we will need it. What groups does EC2 user belong to? It belongs to the group EC2 user admin. It belongs to Will. Oh, wow. Beautiful. All right. So let us create another group. To create a group, the command is group add. Now, instead of user add, the command now is group add. What group do you want to create? Let us create a group called trainees or Docker or something. Later on, we'll be creating Docker. Permission denied. Why is permission denied? And what's the correction?
I'm using User.
All right, so sudo is the correction. So how do we test that we have created the group trainees? Add group. Okay, add group. All right, so we see that trainees have been created as a group. So we have created a group. Fine. So to add EC2 now to the group that we just created, what's the command? The command to add somebody to group is user mod.
Add.
Remember? I think mod, user modifier. Minus AG.
Minus
add,
AG, yeah.
Yeah. Add to trainees. Who do you want to add?
I think we have to put will, right? Or no will?
This time it's not will, this time it's trainees.
Trainees,
Last
okay.
time, and then we want to add EC2
To user.
And EC2 user add himself. It's not like you are EC2 user and you are adding yourself to EC2. Okay, so apparently it works. So now what groups does EC2 user belong to? Let's find out. What do we have? So EC2 user, admin, will, no, it's not there. I expect to see trainees. It's not there. So EC2 user cannot add himself. So we need to get out of EC2 user to be able to add EC2 user. But I expect to see trainees here. Trainees not listed.
Even with sudo, it can't add itself.
Yes, because this is EC2 user adding himself. Somehow it doesn't make sense.
Okay.
You are EC2 user, you're adding yourself. It should be somewhere for somebody else to add. So who is the only person that can?
It should be root.
Root. How do we change to root? We do SU. All right. We are saying we should repeat. Root does not need sudo, right? So to repeat that command. So just right click. User mode is, so this is it. Awesome. So if we now say groups of EC2, because we are root now. So if we say groups, it will give us groups for root. So groups of EC2 users. Awesome. We are now seeing, where is it?
Training.
We are now seeing trainees. So correct now. So this is how to make a user a member of a group. I will be using this a lot. So the name of the group this time just happens to be trainees. The name of the group could have been Docker, could have been Python, could have been anything else. But whatever the name is, this is how to add user to group. And what does adding user to group mean? It means that this user is now able to operate in the capacity of trainees. All right. Any question? Confusing?
No.
Okay. All right. So let's move on then. So again, we are done with root. So let's leave root. Switch user to EC2 user. Clear the screen. ls minus la. Let's do some work. This etc is for configuration files. So this is not the best place to work. Let's get out of here so that we can go and work where there are no configuration files and where we are free to do anything. Where is the place where this guy is free to work and have access to us? Right now we're in etc directory. It's not a safe place to work. One, we don't have access to many things, and two, this is where system files are kept. You don't want to mistakenly delete any of these powerful files. So is there a directory where you feel very comfortable working and you can do everything? Yes, that's your home directory, and you get there by CD. And then you change to tilde, that's your home directory. So if you say print working directory, you are going to see that you are in EC2 directory now. Here you can work and do whatever you like. Nobody holds you responsible for it. ls minus LA. Okay, so that's all we have. No files at all. Let's quickly create some files and play around with files. Remember how to create file? You can quickly take us through creating files. Let's quickly create a file. How do we do that?
Make directory. Yeah.
VI what? File 1.
Right.
All right. This.
VI new file.
Okay. This is a sample file to demonstrate how to create file. All right, so I'm done. Escape, colon, quit, bang. That's it. So ls minus LA. So now I have a file. Where's the file? File 1. Okay.
Via,
you want us to copy that file to another file so that I'll have another file? So you can say copy file 1 into file 2. All right, ls minus LA. So we now have file 1 and file 2, exactly the same thing. We have two files. Now, let us look at something. ls minus LA. So this file 1 is owned by EC2 user. And it's owned by the group EC2 user. So suppose I want to change the group owner of this file from EC2 user. Okay, let's say I want to change it to root, for example. It should be the other way around. If I wanted to change the owner of this file from the owner should not be EC2 user, it should be root. And then the group owner can be trainees. How do I do that? So I would do the command chmod. Because this is my file, I don't need to use sudo because everything here belongs to me. So I have right over there, so I don't need to use it. So chmod. No. Let me see if I can remember. Root. Trainees. There's a group called trainees. So chmod, excuse me, for this file 1, the user owner should be root, and the group owner should be trainees. For which file? For file 1.
File 1.
File 1. I think that's it. Let me check. Invalid mode, root, trainees. Let me try one more. If I go and look at the material.
I think it's good, yeah.
Let me try EC2. Trainee. What's my group? Is it trainee or trainees? Let's try this one.
Trainees.
Let me look at that group name. Maybe it's trainee. Yeah, trainees. Yeah. Okay, so chmod. Okay, let me quickly check how to use that command. There's something I'm missing there. So chmod EC2 user trainees. Chmod invalid mode EC2 help.
Yeah, I think this the sign between.
Let me check the command. So I'm looking at my note. Chmod. Oh, sorry, not chmod, it's chon.
Okay.
It's chon, not chmod. The command is chon. Chon. So the command is change owner, chon. Change owner of file 1 from that to that. So operations not permitted. Changing owner of file 1. Okay, because root is involved. ls minus la. ls minus la. ls minus la. All right, so what we have now is we have successfully changed the owner of this file from what it was. Do you remember what it was?
Yeah, EC2 user. EC2
From
user.
EC2 user to EC2 group. We have changed it now to root and trainee. This is very, very important. Very important. So this is, when we say Linux is powerful in terms of security, this is one demonstration. So you are able to change the ownership of a file to a different user or to a different group. So what you have done now, unless EC2 user is a member of trainees, EC2 user is no longer able to access this file. You have taken ownership from EC2 user. You can change the owner of a file. So this way, only root is the owner of this file. In addition to root being the owner of this file now, no longer EC2 user, anybody, any user who is a member of the group trainees is now also able to access this file. Is it not powerful? It's very powerful. Very powerful. So you can have a file here, yet nobody has access to it just because they are not part of the owners, either at the user level or at the group level. Confusing?
Can we do the same with a directory?
Directory. Okay, let's try it.
Directory.
Let's try it. Can we? Let's try it. Okay, so let's get out of here. No, let's stay here. ls minus l. So for this, where is the directory now? We don't have, let's quickly create a directory. Make directory and call it test1 or testing. ls minus la. So where's testing? So the owner of this directory is EC2, and then the group owner is EC2. We say, no, we don't want EC2 to be able to access it. So the command is chon root for testing. All right. So sudo. All right. So ls minus la. So for testing, yes, we can do the same with directory. That answers your question.
Perfect.
So with this one now, even though you created the directory, you no longer have access to it. So let's try now. Let's say you now go into cd testing. ls minus la. Make directory. Function. You no longer have access to it. Your own directory that you created by yourself, you no longer have access because you have taken the ownership to root and you are not operating as root. So permission denied. All right. So to have access, you have to use root privileges or return the ownership to testing. Let's return the ownership to testing. So how do we, let's return the ownership of testing to EC2 and then attempt to do this. Of course, everything will be normal. So we cannot be in testing to work in testing. So we do cd dot ls minus la. So testing is inside now. So we do chon EC2 user, and then that group that we created. EC2 user, there's supposed to be trainees for testing. Again, sudo. All right, so ls minus LA. So testing now belongs to EC2 user and anyone who is a member of the group trainees. And we know that groups. We know that EC2 is a member of the group trainees, so that's not a problem. Even if it was not, this one is enough for us. All right, so let's see the testing. We're in testing now. So do we now have access here? Are we not able to create function? Last time we tried to create function, we were not able to create function. So let's make directory function. This time we're allowed to create directory. So if we do ls minus l, we have function. Awesome. Beautiful. So this way, we can determine who has access to what. By making that user a member of the group, the user will have access. Even though the owner is root, but anyone here whatsoever. Any question? I have a feeling that somebody is not following where I have somebody is missing her. Yeah. What do you need me to explain to help you understand? Hello? Okay, let me ask you questions then. Okay. CD dot ls minus LA. So who can help me create, first of all, let us delete this directory testing. How do we delete the directory? Remove the directory testing. It will not work. Why is it not working? I'm trying to remove the directory testing. Remove directory testing. It's not working. First of all, remove is for file, not for directory. So that's the wrong command. What's the right command?
You remove dir.
Okay, but it's still not working. What's it? Why?
You are in
Directory is not
EC2.
empty. Directory is not empty.
All right, so what's the solution?
We have to delete whatever. So go into the directory and see what's in there.
Oh, good. Correct.
Yeah, minus R.
Remove directory recursively. Minus R.
Dot, yeah, slash. No, still not working.
EC2. Okay.
Probably minus P.
No, this was what we had. So in the case of minus R, this was what we had issues last week. We don't say remove directory, we just say remove. We use RM. When we want to use minus R, we don't say remove directory anymore. We just say
okay. Yeah. Okay.
So why? That was a good suggestion. But another way to do it is to just say do it recursively. Doesn't matter what and what is inside, remove everything. So in that case, you do minus R. This is faster, right? Awesome. Okay, so ls minus L. Now, I want to create a file and make root the owner of that file. I want to create a file for root. So let me quickly delete this so that, would I be able to delete this? How do I delete that file? file 1. Remove, it's a file, so it's remove. Remove file 1. Is it going to work? If I press enter, will it work? Would it be able to remove this file?
No.
Why?
Because it can't. Hold on.
The file is owned by root.
Because EC2 is not the owner, so you cannot delete it.
Yeah, it's owned by root. Yeah, correct.
Okay. So we'll press enter and do the ls minus la. Incidentally, it worked. But your reasoning is correct. Your reasoning is correct. The only explanation we have is to say EC2 is part of this group, and this group has permission to delete files.
Okay.
Yes, I'll show you that. It's hidden somewhere. I'll know, but I'll show you later. But your reasoning behind it is correct. But however, the reason we're able to do it is the guy that is trying to delete the file belongs to this
It's
group.
part of the group. Okay.
It's part of trainees. And trainees, from what I'm seeing here, which I don't want to show you yet, has permission, has the privilege, has authority to delete files. That's why it works. All right, beautiful. All right, so what I want to do now, what I need somebody to do for me is create a new file, file 7, and give the ownership of that file to root. All right, so who can help? First of all, create the file. How do we create it?
Is it through Nano or through VI?
Huh? Want to do it through VI? Okay, so what do I do? What's the name of the file?
515.
Okay.
Enter.
Insert.
That's right. It's 515.
All right, so we are done.
Let's escape.
Escape, colon, right, quit bank.
WQ open.
All right. So we are done creating the file. What else do you want to do?
So we
The next
are
person. Want to take the ownership of this file from the current owner, EC2, and from the current group, EC2, and give it to, give the current owner and current group to, give the ownership and group ownership to root. What's the command?
Sudo
Sudo, okay.
space change ownership.
And Sean, okay.
Then you want to give it to
Root.
To who?
Roots.
To root. Okay, root. And then the column. And then the group is
515.
515.
All right. So ls minus la. Did you do it? Yes, we did it. Correct. So it means that.
But are you saying
now,
if we decided to use Nano, are we still going to arrive at the same thing?
Yeah, the same thing now, irrespective of how you create the file.
All right.
Whether you create the file with Nano, with Echo, with Torch, with the file is the file. It doesn't matter. Okay. As long as you have this file existing, the next command is to. Yeah, that was fine. So file 15, am I now able to log into file 15 and do and edit anything? So if I do VI file 15 now to add something, what do you expect? What result do you expect?
It will go.
It will go, okay.
This is already an existing file.
Okay, so who thinks otherwise and why?
I don't think it will work because we changed the ownership and the group to root. So root basically controls that file. So
Yes.
if it's going to say permission denied.
Okay, all right. I mean, I'm not sure if it's correct. We'll find out. So who else is there? Mojojo Luwa, yeah, just a little now.
The system is not cooperating, so that's why I decided to log in with my iPhone.
Well, I think it should work.
But what do you think of the question at hand?
Are you asking me?
You have not been with us.
I've been the one that created. I've been the one that created the BI and whatever.
Are you logging on from two phones?
Yeah, no, from my iPhone. I'm using my iPhone now, but I just have my instance on the computer so that whatever I'm
you are logging in from two systems, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, that means somebody is missing now. Where's the insurance man?
Mr. Kazim.
Mr. Kazim is not here, right? Wow. Don't go for somebody to miss this kind of class. Even the people in class.
Let's go and watch the video.
I hope you understand. Okay, so Paul should be doing fine. Coco should be doing fine. Ayodele. Adeyinka is the second person.
Yes, yes, I'm here, sir.
All right. So you are understanding what we are doing, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what do you think? VI file, think we are going to have problem editing this file or not?
Well, we are an EC2 user, and when I look back, it's under root. Yes, it's under root. I don't think it has the permission. So we might have a problem. Yes, we might have a problem, sir.
All right, so let's see. Let us edit now. Let's go from here. So let's quickly edit this and see. So we're already saying we cannot edit, changing our read only. So we have a problem. So you guys were correct when you said that because we are root, we're going to have, because the file belongs to root, EC2 user try to edit it to run into problems. So you're right. Look at the problem. Beautiful. Yes, somebody was going to ask a question.
Yeah, I want to ask a question real quick. So if you look at the file from the access modifier of the file says you can only read and write, but it looks like we're able to read. It says only the root could actually read and write, but by viewing the file, we're able to read the file.
I don't know what you mean. Now, who is able to read the file?
The EC2 user is able to read the file, the content of the file by using the BI. Yes.
Okay.
And then if you look at here, the access modifier has just read and write for the root user only. So why is that?
So okay, so for let's just use this opportunity to explain that for everybody. So what Paul is saying is Paul is looking at this place. Paul is looking at this. And Paul, what this means is this first set, read, write, execute, applies to the owner, applies to, in this case, the EC2, or in this case, the root. So these first three, apart from the first one, which tells us that it's a file, not a directory, the next three characters, it says that the root is able to read. The root is also able to write, but the root does not have power to execute. That's the meaning of that. So the next three characters after the first three is referring to the group. So this one is saying the group, anybody that belongs to the group root is able to read, is able to write, but is not able to execute. And then we'll have the third one, the third set of three characters. What does that mean? It means that everyone else that is neither the owner nor in the group of the owner can only read but cannot write. So the reason we are not able to write to that file is because as EC2, we belong to this category of everyone else. So we could read the file, but when we attempted to write to it, it told us we don't have the permission. Does that explain your?
Yes.
Does that explain your situation? So the reason we're able to read it is because as EC2, we have permission to read. So if we wanted EC2 to be, or anyone else for that matter, to be able to read and write, then we'll give write permission here as well. All right, that's good.
Question, sir.
Before you ask question,
Okay.
Who can tell me about this? What does this mean? For file 2, what does this mean? So it means that EC2 as a user is able to read, write, and execute this file 2. Anybody that belongs to the EC2 user group is able to read, write, but not execute. And then everyone else that is neither in a user nor in the group is only able to read. It's not able to write and it's not able to execute. That is the meaning of that. All right, so what's your question?
Never mind, I figured it out.
You figured it out, okay.
Yeah.
So now, if we want, in spite of root owning this file, if we want EC2 or any other person to be able to write to it, we can do something about it. We can say, yes, even though root owns it and the group belongs to root, EC2 should still be able to change, to write to it. In other words, we'll put write here. We'll make it possible for anybody or everybody to be able to read and write. How do we do that? Okay, let me explain that. Let me explain that. So when you have read, write, execute. There are many ways to do it, but this is about the most read, write, no, read, write, execute. Read, write, execute. Read, write, execute. Okay, so there are 3 sets of read, write, execute. One for, the first set is for the owner, user, owner. Then the second one is for group. And then the third set is for everyone else. All right, so here you are going to say 2 raised to power 1. No, 2 raised to power 0, 1, 2. Okay. We are going to have 0, 0, 1, 2, 0, 1. Okay. So on top of this, it's going to be 2 raised to power 0 here. 2. Put 2 raised to power 0. What is 2 raised to power 0? Anything raised to power 0 is 1. So it's going to be 1. What is 2 raised to power 1? 2 raised to power 1 is 2. What is 2 raised to power 2? 4. So it means that when I say for user, if I say user equals 1, it means I am saying that user has read permission. If I say user equals 2, I'm saying that the user has write permission. If I say user equals 4, I am saying the user has execute permission. If I say user equals 3, 3 is 1 plus 2. So I'm saying user has read, write permission. If I say user equals 7, 7 is 1 plus 2 plus 4. It means user has read, write, and execute permission. So if I say 7, 7, 7, if I give a permission value of 777 to a file, I'm saying that the user can execute. The user has read-write permission, the group has read-write permission, and the entire world, everyone else, has read-write permission to that file. In other words, there is no security whatsoever on this file. Okay, let's quickly do that so that I see how that. So let's go back. Yeah. Let us work on this file, for example. Or anyone can work on the root. So if we see the command is user, the other was churn, right? Change owner. But this one is chmod now, chmod. If I say chmod 777 for file 15, what do I mean? What does it mean? This is what it means. If I press enter now, again, I have to be permission denied mean I should add zero. Okay, so if I do ls minus la, that file 15, look at it now. Read, write, execute. Read, write, execute. Read, write, execute for everybody. Compared to the former state or file 15, when we had only read, write, execute. Read, write, and only read. So I'm setting permissions for this file. With this one now, even though root is the owner of this file, anybody can read, write, and execute this file. So if I go back there now and say vi file 15, I am now able to edit. Whatever I add now will be accepted because this file is porous. Anybody inside. Anybody from anywhere, from any name can edit this file. That's the meaning of read, write, execute. If I say escape now and I say colon, write, quit, bang, it will work. I've edited the file. Why? Because this read, write, execute says that anybody from anywhere by any name can edit this file. You get that? So that is how to set permissions on a particular file. If I don't want anybody to be able to execute this file, I just want them to be able to read. then what will I do? If I want them to be able to execute, to read, not to do anything else, let me quickly go and check what I'll do. I'll come back here. For anybody to be able to read a file only, what do? I take 1. So I put 1. I put 1. And then the rest I put 0, 0. 1 actually. So for this whole number, for this whole user, I write only 1. For the group, I don't want them to be able to do anything. They should not be able to read, they should not be able to write, they should not be able to execute. So I put 0. And then for everyone else, I don't want them to be able to do anything. So I put 0. So if I go back to that file now with 100, let me go. Yeah. If I go back to this same file now, instead of 777, and now say 100, and I do ls minus la, that same file now has, what did I do? Okay, there's a mistake. So, okay, execute. Okay, I think there's a mistake in my calculation. Let's go back to that calculation. Execute. There's a mistake in my calculation. Sorry about that. It should be the other way around.
Yeah, it's 0, 1, 2, and then 0.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should start from the
From
right to left.
Yeah, from right to left. So 210. Okay, let's just correct that. So we are saying that for instead of read, write, execute, should be 2, 1, 0. All right. So 2 raised to the power 2. Oh, sorry. Yeah, this is correct. 4, and then 2 raised to the power 1, 2, 2 raised to the power 0, 1. So whenever I have 1, I'm talking about the ability to only execute. That is what 1 represents. So whenever I have 2, that is talking about the ability to only write. And then whenever I have 4, that is talking about permission to read. So when I give a permission of 1, I'm saying only execute. Like in this case, permission of 1 here means that the user can execute, the group cannot do anything, and then everyone cannot do anything. That's the meaning of 1. All right. Okay. So let's see if you are following. What I want to do, the owner of a file, I want the owner of a file to be able to read, write, and execute. All members of the group, I want them to be able to only read. And then everyone else, I want them not to be able to do anything. So what is the number that I'm going to assign to that file? Is it 777 or 1? So the user of the owner of the file, I want them to be able to read, write, execute. So what number do I give them? All right. So nobody's following. Nobody's following, right? What did I lose you? Hello?
Hi. I said, but
What
is
did
there
I?
any other?
Hmm?
No, I'm just asking if there is another way we can just actually get this one. It's kind of.
Okay, you didn't get it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's start again. Let's go and do it again. Okay, so let's go to Okay, let's go back to All right, you may mute yourself. Okay, so what we are saying is, let's take a file, for example. Let's look at this file. File 2. File 2 is owned by the user EC2 and by the group EC2.
Mm-hmm.
These terms here
For the user
is equivalent to what we have here. The first set of terms of characters here, 1, 2, 3, is permission for this guy. And then the second set of characters, 1, 2, 3, is permission for this guy. The third set of characters, 1, 2, 3, is permission for a hidden group called everyone, but it's not displayed here. So when I'm reading, if I want to know what kind of permissions does EC2 owner have over this file 2, I'll come here and I'll read this. He has read, write, permission. He's able to read the file. He's able to make changes to the file. That's the meaning of write. But he's not able to do any execution on the file. That's the meaning of that. So what about this one? What does it mean? This one is relating to the group. It means the group is able to read the file, is able to write to the file, file 2, but it's not able to execute. What about this 3 set? It's pertaining to everyone else other than the owner and the group. So the whole world is able to read the file, but they are not able to write and they are not able to execute. That's the meaning. All right. So who can explain to me the meaning of this? Concerning this file .bash history, what does this permission say? Anybody?
the user will be able to read and write, but cannot execute, while the group will not be able to read or write or execute, and the third one will not be able to do anything.
Who is the third one?
Everyone.
Everyone.
The whole world.
Yes, correct. All right, so who can explain to me the different personnel as it relates to this file .bash profile? What does the permission say? A different person?
The first person will be able to read and write.
Who is the first person? Who is the first person? What do you mean by the first person?
I'll be the user.
What do you mean the user? How do I get the first person?
The EC2.
So I know the first person from here. The owner. The file owner, which in this case is EC2 user, is able to
read and
write. Okay, continue from there.
And the other EC2 user will be able to read alone.
What is the other EC2 user?
The
group owner. The group. Yes, the group. The group owner. So the first one is the user owner, or simply the user. And then the second one is the group. And then the third one is everyone else. All right. So a different person who can interpret the meaning of the permissions as it relates to .bash RC.
The owner can read and write.
Mm-hmm.
The group can read only.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone can read.
Okay. So who is the owner in this case for this file?
EC2 user.
Okay. And who is the group?
EC2 user.
Correct. All right. So is everybody following now? What about this one? Who can interpret this thing?
user can
For file
only
15.
So that
user
the
can
root
only
won't be able to.
Okay.
Only the user can only execute.
only executes,
Mhm.
whereas other won't be able to do anything.
So, yes.
The group and the everyone won't be able to do anything. They won't be able to read or write or execute.
All right, that's correct. So now you understand how to read that. So the question now is, for this file 15, if I want the owner to be able to read, write, and execute, in other words, I want here to be read, I want here to be write, and I want the execute to remain. So if I want the owner to be able to read, write, execute, I have to assign a number 7. How did I get that number? Okay, let's go on. Let's come back. So this way I was explaining that read, write, execute is 210. By 210, we just mean 2 raised to the power 2, 2 raised to the power 1, and 2 raised to the power 0. So 2 raised to the power 2, what is it? 2 square. 4. What is okay. So what is 2 raised to the power 1?
So,
And what is 2 raised to the power 0?
0.
Anything raised to the power 0 is 1. A lot of indices, forgotten. All right. So if I want somebody to be able to read, write, and execute, I'm going to give a number 7. It means for that user or for that group or for that everyone, you'll be able to read, write, and execute. If I give a number 6 instead of 7, what does it mean?
So read and write.
Read and write. Say it confidently. So if I want you to be able to only read and write, 2 plus 2. Without execute, it will be 0, right? So that is 6. All right?
Yes.
So if I give 5, what does it mean? 5 is 4 plus 1. 4.
To read and execute.
4 plus 0
Plus 1.
1.
Yeah.
5.
Read and execute.
Correct.
Yeah.
So if I give 4, what does it mean?
Read only.
Read only. Correct. So the person who did not understand, do you understand? If I give 3, what does it mean?
Write and execute.
Write and execute, yeah.
Yeah.
If I give 2, what does it mean?
Right.
Write only.
Write only, yeah. And if I give 1, what does it mean?
Execute.
Execute only.
Yes.
All right. So exactly the same thing for, if I do this for owner, it's exactly the same thing I'll repeat for group. So I'll repeat the same thing for group, and then the same thing for, so I'm going to have 3 numbers for everyone. So if I want to give a file a permission that will allow owners to read, write, and execute, the group to read, write, and execute, another 7 there, and then everyone else to read, write, and execute, 7 there. So I'm going to give 7, 7, 7. 7 here, 7 here, 7, 7 here. You see how God came about that 777?
Okay.
Do you see how it came about the number 777? It means that the owner can read, write, execute.
Read, write, and
Group
execute.
can execute,
Can
read, write, and execute, and then everyone. Yeah.
yeah.
So let's go and implement that 777. So for this file, for example, even though it is owned by root and root group, I still want the whole world to be able to access it, everybody to be able to access it. You will not even know that it belongs to root. So what do I do for that file? I'll say for that file, chmod, I'll do what? Chmod 777 for the file 15. I wanna, okay, sudo.
Sudo, yeah.
And when I do that, and I do ls minus,
LA.
I'm going to see
Yes.
that everybody, the owner can read, write, execute. The group can read, write, execute, and the whole world can read, write, execute.
Yes.
So who is going to answer this question now? If I VI into file 15 now, file 15 belongs to root, but I'm VI into file 15 as EC2 user. So will I be able to edit that file?
What's the question again, sir? Yes.
Okay, so who else understood the question? I don't answer.
I think we have tried to do it the other time before we digressed, and it does not allow us before you start explaining this thing to us. But I think right now we have to go back to be the root user before we can actually VI into the file. So that
no, it doesn't matter because everybody have access to everything. They can read, write, and execute. So it should work.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that's the important thing.
Okay.
That's what we're trying to find out.
Okay. Now we have changed the permission to everyone to read, write, and execute.
Yes. So who does not understand that?
You go.
So it should work now. And we have tried it. It should work now because, like you explained. All right. So that's it. Does everyone understand that? Okay. So what about this file? If I as every other file belongs to EC2, so EC2 will not have problem with every other file. This is the only one that. This is the only one that can work with. All right. So who can help me now? This is your supervisor is likely to sack you if you do this to an important file. This is not secure at all. How can you do this? All right. So if you want to correct this mistake now, let's say this was a mistake. What you want to do now is
into the file
for the whole world to be able to read the file, but not read and execute. And then the owner, only the owner should be able to read and write. Everyone else should be able to only read.
Okay.
So what
that would
do we
be
do?
Sudo chmod 722.
Or which file?
515.
Okay. So do you agree with him? Is this one correct? 722. Because what we're trying to achieve is only the owner should be able to read and write. Everyone else should have only read permission.
I think it's
if
correct.
You have read permission or write only?
Read only.
Read only is 4 not 2 then. If it is read only.
Your ability to understand my question is part of training. So don't ask me to be repeating myself.
Yeah, that's 744, yeah.
Okay, so what result do you expect from this?
The user should have be able to
let's
read,
just
write,
enter
and execute.
ls minus le.
Okay.
No, this is not the question. This is not the answer I'm expecting. You didn't get my answer right. I
So that's
said
what I'm asking.
the user should be able to read and write, and everyone else should only be able to read.
Yeah, and read is 4. Write is 2. And execute is 1. So if you want everybody to read, it's going to be 4. So maybe you want everybody to write then 722.
No.
If it is right.
All right. So any other opinion?
I'm gonna try 644.
Yeah.
That should work for
644.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. You don't want the
Read and
user to
write.
execute, just to
No,
read and write.
just read and write. 644 should be
Oh,
644.
644 then, yeah.
So be careful when I'm asking questions. Don't form your own question to replace my question. Answer my own question.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, be
Yes,
careful
sir.
because it's part of the training. All right. So 644 should do it. LS
Minus
minus
LA.
LA. So
Okay.
let's see now. So this guy is able to read and write, correct? And others are able to read. Good. That
Yeah.
is exactly what I.
Okay.
So do you now see how to use the number 644-777-100 and so on? And this is the most common kind of permission system. So the person who did not understand the first time, does it make better sense this time? Yes, questions? Questions. Chimod 644-777-100.
Are we forgetting our break time? Or we should just go straight up?
Okay, break time.
We don't need break today.
No, we can go straight and have the break time. Maybe we should end the class before the normal time, before 9.
We don't need break today. Let's continue.
Yeah, we can close early. We can close early.
Maybe.
Yeah, all this one doesn't matter. Just show me that you're understanding the little that we have done today, and then we are.
Yeah.
So, do you need us to revise this particular
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
number?
Yes, sir. Let's do it one more time.
Okay. We are doing it one more time, then let's go on break. I'll refresh our brain and come back. So this is 8:10. Let's take 10 minutes. Let's come back 8:20.
Excuse me, sir. Before you go, sir.
Yeah.
Is there a way we can have access to this class notes?
Yes.
The notes?
Yes, sir.
Yes, I already gave you the notes of the part we have done before, right? So for this particular one, I'll send it to you. I'll send the note that we are doing today, the note of what we have done.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay, sir.
I'll send that. And then, of course, you also have the video. You can always listen again and make your own notes.
Come back to it. Yeah.
All right, let's take 10 minutes break, and then we'll come back and revise this one.
And again, sir, this guy is trying to log in, but he's having issue. Lekon, what's his name?
Lekon is in now. Lekon, are you not in? Let's see.
He said,
I'm in now.
Oh, okay.
I just got in now. Thank you so much.
Okay. All right.
All right, yeah. All right, so we're taking the 10 minutes break. See you in 10 minutes.
Okay, sir.
I will pause the recording. Hello? Hello, are we back?
Yeah, we're back.
All right. Okay, so yeah, we just wanted to revise this and make sure everybody's on the same page with this.
So
I'll move on to something. All right, so any specific question? All right, so for those who got it, I'll just let you go through it again so that you can help us. So the whole idea, what we are trying to achieve is assign permissions to files. Okay, so so ls minus la. What file are we looking at? Should we quickly create a new file so that let's create a new file. Let's create a new file. Touch my new file. All right, so ls minus la. So we have the new file, my new file. You want to put something inside? Echo just learning. I'll put it where?
my new file.
My new file. All right, ls minus la.
LA.
We will have something inside my new file.
Mhm.
All right, so by default, the owner EC2 can read and write. Group
And the group
owner
can read and
EC2
write.
can read, write. Everyone else can only read.
Mhm.
All right. Okay. Let us say that we want to remove this ownership. So we say gmod 000 for everybody for my new
file.
Okay, ls minus la. So for this new file, nobody can do anything. Nobody can read, nobody can write, nobody can access. All right. All right. So the person who needed us to verify. So what we want to do now is we want to give another way to do this. You can see user, we want to give user read write permission. Okay. And then group, we want to give group plus read permission.
Mm-hmm.
And then everyone will be others minus others. Oh, for others, not zero. Others, we want to give read. Others, we want to give plus
R
read permission. All right.
Command not found.
I think I think something should come in before this. I'm not sure. Let's try chi. What do you normally? Chi mod, right? Chi. Okay, I have to find out how to use that. User plus read write group plus.
Are you supposed to add the file that you're trying to modify?
Oh, that's true. For which file? What's the name of the file? My new file. Oh, thank you for that. All right, so ls minus la. So what did we get? Did we get it? My new file, yes, we got it. So this is another way to do that, but this is not really, although it's elementary and you might easily really understand it, but it's not really a standard way to communicate with other engineers around the world. The standard way, the most standard and generally acceptable way is the number 77766. Okay. But I just use this example so that you can get the feel of what we are trying to achieve. So when we want to give user read-write permission, I don't want to give group only read permission. I want to give others read permission. So the equivalent of doing this and achieving this is to do what? Is to do chmod. What's the number?
Read-write
Will be
42.
Read-write will be what number for users?
There are 6.
6.
Yes.
And then read for group will be
2.
2.
No, 4. Sorry.
Read
4.
6 4.
And then write for others will be.
No, that's not right. That's read.
Sorry, read for others.
That's 4.
4. 6 4 4.
Read is always 4. So once it's 4, yeah, it's going to be 4.
It's 4, yeah.
So for which file? My
new file.
New file. So it's the same thing. So whether you write it like this or you write it like this, you are getting the same result. But this is the more standard form to write. So what's your question now? What is still not very clear about? And you will need this as part of your the things you do regularly. All right, so if we press enter, it's the same thing, nothing changed. ls minus la is the same set of functions. All right, so somebody should change this. Somebody should change the owner of this file to root and change this permission to and block everyone from access to this file. First of all, change the owner to root and then block this file, block permission from to the whole world, to everyone, all 3 categories.
Think sudo su, right?
So to do what? Sudo su to do what?
Roots.
Okay, let me just follow you. Yeah. Okay, then what?
Oh, we want to change that. Okay, so now it's going to be sudo user mod, right? Minus AG. Hold on. No, yeah, that's yes.
Sudo change the owner.
Root, yes. Sudo.
What do we want to do? I need to know what you want to do before I enter your command.
We are changing the owner, EC2 user.
Why did we need to come to root? So this, you didn't need to bring me to root. Why did you need to do sudo su?
Okay.
Okay, so who is leading me now?
So now we need sudo cho ch change of owner.
Want to say do what? I should do what?
Sudo chow.
Chon.
Sudo, yeah,
chon.
change the owner. Sudo chon.
Change owner.
Root.
What's it called?
Root. Exclamation mark. Root.
Exclamation mark. Root. My new file.
There's no exclamation mark. Root. Colon. Then what's
colon? Sorry, not exclamation. Colon.
Root. And my new file.
No,
it should be EC2 user. EC2
I didn't say
user,
change the group.
File.
I said change only the user, so it will remain EC2 user.
EC2 user, yeah.
Okay. Then what?
My new file.
Okay. All right. So ls minus la. You got that. You change the owner to root, so the group remains EC2. Correct. So what's the next thing you want to do?
And okay, it's going to be Shimon.
What do you want to do?
You said we should not give anybody permission to do anything.
Okay. Shimon.
Shimon 000, my new file.
All right. Does everyone understand that? My new file. Okay. Permission denied.
Sudo. Yeah.
All right. That's correct, I guess. My new file, nobody's able to do anything. Only root. Oh, beautiful. Even it means that even root cannot VI to have, even root cannot do anything. So if root says VI my new file now, I mean, even as root, if we do sudo su, and as root we now say VI my new file, we are not able to edit. Do you realize that? Insert. Even as root, we are not able to edit. So if we want to save now, escape, colon, right quit, bank, ls minus la. I mean, cut my
New file.
All right, this is interesting. This is interesting because we said my new file, nobody has access. Nobody should be able to do anything. All right, not even root, but
that
root
was
is
just
the
going to be my question, because if root actually made changes to the not giving anyone permission, then who else root can be able to go back to that file and change that permission? So I guess
yes.
automatically you cannot exclude root from the equation.
Yes, you cannot exclude root from the equation. That's what we just found out. So you cannot hide anything from root. Even though you made it impossible here for root, you cannot. Yeah, good reason. I mean, it's very logical. Then why are you creating it? So you cannot hide anything from root. That's what we just learned. So it's just like you're in the universe and you are doing things and you think you're hiding it from the all-seer. You're just deceiving yourself. When it's time for him to take action, just like the root did. Anyway, that was interesting. Okay, so do you now have I think it makes more sense now, right? We have practiced enough of this. Any more questions as to how this works? Then you go and practice now. We shouldn't really learn any new command today. We'll let you know. Yeah, questions?
How can we give root access to read and write now?
Oh, the same way. The same way. The same way we remove the access. So what do you want to do? Chimod. Chimod. Oh, okay. We did Chimod as EC2. So first of all, who is doing now? Root. So we can work as root because root is doing. So Chimod 777 or whatever.
My new file.
Okay.
LS minus L.
You see everything. Read, write, execute, read, write, execute.
All right. So that is how to achieve. All right. So one more class, we should be done with everything we want to know under Linux. It's not the end of Linux, it's just that we'll have enough of the commands to go on and start to use cloud. Linux by itself as a course is deeper than what we are learning now. But for the 7th time, I have discovered that you don't need to know all they will not ask you Linux as interview. You don't need to know all the Linux, and there's no need spending 1 full month on something that will not be asked for your 140 kg. Yes, it will help us really become better and good, but at the end of the day, it's really about, are we ready for the job out there? So we should focus more on what employers are looking. So before this, our Linux used to be much deeper than this. But what I'm doing with your class and above, under this new field, is to extract only the relevant parts that you need, that your employers need. I don't really need to teach you everything that I know. You don't need to know everything that I know to get the 140 kg. I know what you need to know. That's what I'm teaching. But after one more class, you should have covered enough of Linux commands and have enough understanding of Linux to be able to go use this now to go and learn the rules. Because like I kept saying, they will not ask you questions around Linux at the interview. But we do need this understanding of this command to be able to work and answer the questions that they will ask you as interview. Because you need these tools, you need these little things to be able to do the real thing. This is not the real thing, but you need them on a daily basis to be able to do the real thing. The real thing is DevOps, but these are the things you'll be using to do it. This and many more commands. We'll still be learning more commands. All right, so that is that. Then, of course, the all-powerful command. Anytime you want to, this is what we'll do next time, but we can just introduce it. Anytime you want to install, so, okay, let me just spend the remaining. Let's go to, what is Linux as an operating system? So Linux as an operating system is basically the engine that runs your server. It's basically your engine. You know what an engine is? So you have your engine like that. So whatever service you want to run, you now use your service, your engine to install it. So whether you are going to run SAP, or you are going to run a database, or you are going to run a EFS, or you are going to run Samba, or you are going to run any other service. Yeah, service is the name for it. Or anything else you want to run. Unix is robust enough to allow you to install that service to use it. So Unix by itself is the kernel, and then it now allows you to install anything, any service that you want to. I don't know if you get that. So the reason you are learning Linux now is because we'll be installing a lot of services later on. We'll be installing Docker, Git, Jenkins, all kinds of Tomcat, HTTPD, NGS. We'll be installing a lot of things on Linux. Now that we have learned Linux, we now have an understanding of Linux enough to be able to install all of these other services to be using it. All right. So whatever service you need to run, you just do yum install the name of that service. All right. So for example, if we are going to run everything we'll be doing is installation. Let's quickly go there. So now that we know Unix, if we are going to run Docker, for example, it's just a matter of yum to install Linux, Red Hat, CentOS, Fedora. The command is yum install. Yum install, then the name of the application you are installing. That's all. All right. You already root. Otherwise, you will say, do you want to install? Yes. So that is it. This is how to install services. And we'll be installing a lot of services on top of Linux. installing all these other tools that we mentioned on your resume that you are going to tell your employers, we'll be installing all of them one by one as we need them. So we just, all the Docker you're asking me, are we going to do Docker? That's Docker, we'll just install Docker, finish. So it's just a matter of starting to use Docker now because we just installed it.
So we couldn't get that because the network was breaking up.
Oh, okay. Which part did you get?
When you want to install Docker, yeah.
Yeah, anything you want to install at all, it's just a matter of doing your install, then the name of that service.
Okay.
If it's JIT, it's yum install JIT. Then yes, to continue. If it's Docker, it's yum install Docker. Yum install Docker. If it's Tomcat, it's yum install Tomcat. Yum install, so Tomcat. You see, that's just it.
Can you repeat again? You said which Linux distribution uses Yum to install? Which of the Linux distributions?
Red Hat, CentOS, Fedora, Amazon Linux.
How do you spell the CentOS?
Cent, C-N-T, then OS, capital letter OS.
Okay.
CentOS.
What about Mint?
I haven't used Mint, so I wouldn't know. No, there are over 50 different variants of it.
Okay, CentOS.
So this Amazon Linux can be considered CentOS. It's as you say. All right, so I welcome questions that would not necessarily commands, but questions that will help you understand the fundamentals and the place of Linux in IT.
These applications that we're going to be installing, are they going to be installed? They will be installed in the cloud, right?
Yes, we'll be working from cloud. All our work will be in cloud, yes.
Okay. Do we need extra memory, or the memory that comes with the EC2 instances is enough to?
If we need, we'll add now. We're in cloud now. All the resources are there.
Or we'll just add
on your laptop, no, you don't need any additional resources. Okay. All you need from your laptop is to connect it to cloud.
Can you just briefly explain what the use of S3 is to when we're working on EC2?
Can I explain what?
Briefly explain like S3.
No.
I will explain that in cloud.
That's AWS.
Okay.
After Linux, the next course is AWS. So when we get to AWS, I will explain Linux and I will explain S3.
Mr. Akin, but
yeah,
you can only install while you are root. You can't install when you are not a root, right?
You can use sudo to install when you are not root. Most of our installation will be done as EC2. So this same thing I installed now, I can also install by saying switch user to EC2 user. And then I'll now say sudo yum install. What do you want to install, for example?
No, I tried the Docker.
Look at HTTP, it's installing. You want to continue? Yes. So it's done. It's already installed. Sudo yum install and the name of the application. Sudo yum install further popular one. NTPD. All right. Nothing to do, is already. All right. Also do yum update.
HTTPS.
HTTPS.
Yeah.
No, you don't install HTTPS. HTTPS is not a service. That's a protocol. It's a different. but we'll come to.
What I'm saying is, since you install HTTPT.
Since I installed HTTPD, then what?
So I'm just figuring out if we can actually do the S. That's what I'm asking.
No, it's a different thing. HTTPD is a daemon. It's different from HTTPS, which is a protocol. They are two different things. So what we install is HTTPD on this way. As for how do we use HTTPS, what is HTTPS? We'll do that when we get to AWS.
Okay. So we can only learn that in cloud.
You said?
So we can only learn that in cloud.
HTTPS?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
SSL certificate, SSL to TSL certificate. It's called encryption in transit. We'll learn that. That is a cloud function, not a Linux function. All right.
Yes, sir.
Questions, please. Let's make it interactive. Okay, so there are no questions.
Question: what would be the use of HTTPD in this course?
It's your web server.
Web server.
To convert your Linux to a web server so that it can host your web pages, you need to install a web server. HTTPD is one of the many available web servers. Others are Nginx, Tomcat, IIS. HTTPD is one. Internet Information Services, IIS, is for Windows. It's the web server of Windows environment. But for Linux environment, it will be HTTPD, Tomcat, and Nginx. And at one time or the other during our training, we will install all of those services. Did that answer your question?
Yes.
All right. So if I want to make my Linux a web server so that to enable it to host my web pages so I can use it as a web hosting machine on the internet, then I have to put HTTPD. All right. So just like I just explained about HTTPD, so do all the other services have their own rules and functions as well. So there must be a reason, something you are looking for you to want to say, okay, this is it, let me install it. I need my Linux to be able to do this, and you install the service. Oh, I need my Linux to be able to do this, and you install the service. You're going to learn many system commands, systemctl, kill, uptime, so many commands. We'll be learning all of them subsequently. And then firewalling with cloud, you are going to meet your access control list and all of your security groups. So there's really many firewalling. Okay.
I have a question. I know this may sound stupid, but I just need some clarification. So when we go back to like the cloud, the Amazon instance, thing that we installed, it's a server. I mean, is it the same as a normal, like, for example, I told you, like, I'm a little bit used to Azure. So Azure, they have virtual machines, which can also be like the computer that you have at home. But however, it's different from a normal computer. So because you install the server operating system inside that machine, this one that is it server by itself when we installed it?
You mean the Linux that we stored in cloud?
Instance that we installed that we
spinned up in cloud.
Spinned up, yeah.
Yeah, everything we spin up, it cannot be client.
Sorry?
Everything we spin up in cloud, all EC2s, they are always servers.
They're always servers. So in
yes.
So the question would be, in Amazon instance, do they have VMs, like just virtual machines, which are not servers inside of EC2?
Okay, so the Amazon instance, they are referred, EC2s are instances. Anything you spin up in AWS is called an instance, specifically EC2, RDS, as long as it has a machine underneath it, then it's an instance. So your EC2 is an instance. All right. So your instances, or specifically your EC2 instance, is a server in cloud. It's a server. So it's not a client. Your computer is either a client or a server.
Okay, so can't I have a client in AWS?
In cloud?
Yeah.
Why would you want to have a client?
No, I'm just asking.
Yes, you could, but it will not be an EC2. You have client services. There are other services that will allow you to have a network of servers and clients. Okay. There are software as a package services, but when you are using the infrastructure as a service, the infrastructure they have given you is good for servers, not for clients.
Okay.
Because the reason you are going to cloud to set up something is to serve the world, is to serve people. It's not for you to use it by yourself. So as long as that system you are setting up is to act as a web server to the whole world, or act as database machine to your bank, or it's always a server. The reason you want to go to cloud and set up something is to serve people. It's always a server. If you are looking for client, then the laptop that you are using to connect to cloud is okay for your client. Okay. However, like we said, beyond these details, this technical view angle that we are looking at it from as professionals, people may also want to say, you know what, I don't even need client for myself. I just want my client, my server, everything to be in cloud. Yes, AWS has services like that. We've gotten the name now, where you can have your client connected to your servers in cloud, and you can use your client in cloud as well. But it's different from spinning up an EC2. Every time you spin up an EC2, you are spinning up a server.
Okay.
So there are services in cloud, different from the way we're approaching it, that will just form your corporate network. So your clients are there, your servers are there. So even though you're operating from your laptop, you're only using that laptop as a terminal to connect to your client in cloud. What was the name again? It was actually a student that introduced me to that corporate network in cloud. But because we are professionals, we already know the real thing. That is too kind of elementary for us. So we'd rather just do the real thing rather than being people who do not have the real knowledge on how to use the power of cloud. That is just one of many applications of cloud. All right, so they are available. I don't know if I answered the question. So when you go up to spin up an EC2 instance with the view of loading Linux and doing all of this, you are doing it from the perspective of making it a server, not of setting up a client.
Okay. So in Amazon, they have Windows operating system, right? This Amazon that we're using, they have Windows.
Yeah, you saw it.
Yeah.
Okay, then
so
see.
Windows
Yeah,
operating system there, are they all servers?
Yes, they are all servers. Okay, let's quickly take a look so that you are. Okay, so let me see. What are we? Let me share. Share. All right, so where's my cloud? So let's, can you see me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Let's pretend we want to set up an EC2. Okay, so we'll say EC2, and then we'll say we already have one, which we are going to delete now. And then here we are saying, choose an Amazon machine. What operating system do you want on the EC2 you are creating? All right, so this proves to you that everything is server. Look at this. Linux is already a server operating system. I hope you know.
Yeah.
If I'm not, a server is an enterprise server operating system. Mac OS, Red Hat, Linux, SUSE Linux, Microsoft Server operating system, Deep Learning, Ubuntu, Debian, Deep Learning, Microsoft Server. You are not going to see Microsoft client here. It's all server. So all the operating systems available here are server operating systems because, like I said, your EC2 are all servers. So your question as to, are they server operating systems? Yes, look at them. Microsoft Server operating systems supporting SQL. You don't even need to go and install SQL separately. It's already there. Server 2016 supporting SQL Enterprise. Server 2012, all kinds of server. Microsoft, they are here. Linux. Red Hat 8 with SQL. You don't even need to do anything. And if you look at all of this, you are not satisfied, you still want more, then go to Amazon Marketplace and look at other operating systems by other people and other vendors outside Amazon directly. Infrastructure software for DevOps, for Juniper, or thousands of them. So whether they are from Amazon directly or from Amazon vendors and people working with Amazon to produce infrastructure software, they are here. Microsoft is one of them. Red Hat. Windows server system. So does that answer your question? All the operating systems are server operating systems, and there are many. Ubuntu, CentOS, Amazon Linux, Red Hat, they are all there. Mint, and then you asked one right now. Which one did you ask? Mint?
Yeah, Mint.
Okay, Mint is there. All right, just 4 variants compared to Debian, 171 variants, and compared to Linux Red Hat, which is about the most popular of them. 200 and something compared to CentOS. And then, no, Ubuntu is the most popular, 800 and something variants. So for most of we'll get into DevOps, we'll be using Ubuntu most of it. Because it's the most popular. And therefore, likely to be the most stable and the most supported, technically supported. So all of them are there. Even if you want to set up a full-time telecoms company now, instead of you bothering yourself with how do I create the billing, how do I create this, it's already there. If you can take your time to look for it, you'll find something that fits the operating system you are looking for. Not like getting the Linux and then building it to the requirement, which is the usual thing. Sometimes you want to go beyond just building Linux to meet the requirement to or getting a software that is already built to meet the specific requirement. In other words, you are going beyond platform as a service to actually buying the software as a service. The infrastructure, the platform, and the software, everything is already done for you. Not be paying a yearly subscription. But the reason they want to hire you is they don't want to pay somebody a yearly subscription because you cannot customize what somebody has already done. So they want you to build their own system from scratch using your understanding of Linux and even be selling to their own clients as software as a service, not them buying ready-made software. All right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I know we're primarily focused on AWS, but I was trying to think, is that a major difference between Azure and AWS? Because Azure have like machines that like virtual machines that are not just basically servers, but they're just like client OS.
Yeah, virtual machine is just a general name. So our EC2 instance is a virtual machine. It's just the name that they call it. So Azure calls its own virtual machine. That same thing that they call virtual machine, Amazon calls it EC2.
But
Elastic compute.
Client OS inside of this thing, Amazon do not. Amazon just is primarily focused on servers.
Yes, Amazon does have a service that offers that kind of.
Okay.
Yes, it has. That's the name I was trying to remember. But in any case, your question was, what's the difference? No, they are competitors. They are both in the market. Amazon just happens to have, because they actually started cloud, a larger share of the market. In other words, out of every 10 potential employers, about 4 of them will be using Amazon, and maybe less than about 2 of them will be using. So you are more likely to come across employer wanting to hire you because you are AWS than with Azure. As of today, it doesn't mean that tomorrow Azure cannot overtake Amazon to be the market leader. So that's the reason we are going with yes, with AWS. That will give our trainees more chances out there, or employment opportunity, because many more employers are using AWS than I am. Again, for now, this is technology. Things can change in the next 2 years. So yes, it's good to. AWS just happens to be the market leader. Otherwise, it's not like saying it's better than Azure. It just happened to lead now because of maybe the luck is just on their table for them.
I think they manage US government. I don't know, is it Microsoft or I don't know, AWS that manage US government contract. So maybe that's the reason why.
Even before they got to that level, was it AWS? I think Microsoft contested that that contract that they won. Well, even before then, they have before they even won that contract to be talking about that. What about Elon Musk? Elon Musk has more government contract with rockets and Pentagon building and all of that. But yeah, that could be a factor. But before then, they actually have more millions of customers, ordinary customers, supporting many million businesses than just the US government. So even if you take away US government, there are, for example, when Netflix moved from AWS to Oracle, that increased Oracle market share to become the 4th. I mean, just 2-3 heavy companies moving from one company, from one cloud provider to another cloud provider. It could shift a lot of things, a lot of dynamics in the market. So the point is, they just happen to have gotten this thing right, because they actually started this whole idea of cloud with their Amazon marketplace, and then they had extra resources, and then they started selling out, and then it became cloud. So they are still leading.
I didn't know that. I was initially thinking it was Microsoft. Wow.
And Amazon started cloud. That guy is the wizard. He started cloud. They used it for, just like Google started Kubernetes. So they used it for their own services and then became so successful. And then they now started to commercialize. But Microsoft is doing well, and I hear it's relatively easier to use. And Microsoft's advantage is it's now integrating all of the Microsoft applications that everybody uses on a regular basis, Microsoft 365 into cloud. And now you can move between your regular Microsoft applications, normal, and cloud seamlessly. And you sometimes you don't even know that you are working in cloud. Everything you can just move from your local drive to cloud drive, and it's a big advantage. So you don't really have to go through this rigor of learning cloud separately to be able to integrate. I think that's a big advantage because they already have the client market. So being able to integrate a client and server seamlessly will be a really major advantage. So I think they're seizing the advantage to be a market leader in the near future. But for now, economy of scale says that the more customers you have, the more you're able to reduce your price. So Amazon still has that for now. Last time I did something in Amazon, it was $5. Yesterday I was showing somebody something and I saw that the price of that same thing has come to $3. So the prices are just crashing and going down, And that's the number one thing that customers want: good prices for, good product, but minimum price. Only people with millions of subscribers can play around with figures. All right, so we'll start class shortly, but the next one or maybe two lectures, we are still doing Linux, and then we'll go from there. So, Mr. Kazim, you came really, really late. I hope you're able to watch the videos.
Yes, I'm watching. I'm in the class.
Yeah, I know. So remember, White is there to hold to assist you, to support you with what do they call that? Tutorial, they call them, right?
Okay.
Huh? Like it's suggested. It give you additional tutorials, but we've changed that word tutorials to tutorial.
Okay.
Good for us, there's no female in this class, so we know what tutorial means. Anyway, so so feel free to share your problems so that you can organize tutorial for you. And if you have any issues after you look at the video, post them on the forum and all. It's not good to miss classes because these things, missing one class can be very could be devastating, and we don't want that for you. All right. So that's about it for today. Today is Thursday, so next class will be Monday, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. So I'm going to take my notes and remove all those things that I used to teach, and then give you only the things that you need for this class. So I'll post that this evening before I sleep. And then, of course, the video will be up in 1 or 2 hours.
Okay.
All right, guys. See you guys on Monday.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
You're
sir.
welcome.
Thank you, sir. Have a good night.
You too. Bye, everyone.
Bye, sir.